The film begins in the city of Srang, in 1987. Then, a new student, who had just moved from Bandung is seen. The student's name is Roy. On his first day of school, he brings his beloved dog named Joe. However, this turns out to make Roy the center of attention, because he looks like Dulloh. After that, Roy meets a beautiful third-grade student named Ani. It turns out that at first sight, Roy falls in love instantly. However, one of the students named Dulloh feels angry and jealous of Ani, whom he had always targeted, but never responded to. It is revealed here that Dulloh used to be the child of an official who ruled the Srang region, so he became a bully and acted tough in the school. He even formed a gang called Borsalino. In class, Roy makes new friends named Tony and Andy.
Roy, temen aing.
Then, after school, Roy helps his mother deliver the clothes she has sewn to her customers. It is revealed here that Roy's mother is a famous tailor in Bandung. However, due to certain circumstances, Roy and his mother have to move to Srang. Roy's father is a famous writer and activist in Bandung, but unfortunately, he passed away when Roy was still young. As a result, his mother decides to become a tailor to support their lives. After that, Roy is asked by his mother to deliver the order of clothes to another customer. Meanwhile, Roy observes Ani from a distance. In fact, he intends to confess his love there. However, he suddenly changes his mind when he sees Roy coming to Anna's house to deliver the clothes sewn by his mother. Roy overhears Ani being slightly surprised, and they introduce themselves because they still don't know each other.
Ada jahitan.
Ani.
Those who see it are certainly jealous. In fact, they get even angrier when they see Roy protecting Ani from the rain. As a result, Ani becomes baper, a slang term for getting emotional, and starts to like Roy.
Jo, tante di sarang.
The next day, Ani gathers the courage to ask Roy to go to Anir Beach together. Hearing that, Roy gladly accepts her invitation because Ani is very beautiful and kind. After that, the two of them go to the beach to have fun there. Then, Ani asks why Roy can keep a dog even though he is a Muslim. Hearing that, Roy answers that he always cleans himself from impurities when playing with Joe. In fact, there, Roy holds Anna's hand and teaches her how to cleanse impurities. As a result, they get carried away and almost kiss there.
Harus dibalurin pakai tanah.
However, suddenly, Dulloh comes and, without hesitation, attacks them. Solo versus squad. Brawl ensues. In the midst of the fight, Roy starts to be cornered because he is outnumbered. Then, Joe, who sees this, tries to help Roy, but unfortunately, Joe is beaten to death by Dulloh. Seeing that, Roy immediately cries, and feels lost because Joe is his only beloved pet. Since that incident, Roy decides to get drunk because he wants to forget his sadness over Joe.
Aku kehilangan rumahku.
He also intends to take revenge on Dulloh by forming a new gang in his school. Roy tells all his friends not to be afraid of Dulloh and his gang.
Kita ini rat.
After that, during the break, Roy deliberately deflated Dulloh's car tire to provoke his anger, and initiate another fight with him. And it turned out to be true. Dulloh was provoked, leading to another brawl. It can be seen here that Roy is capable of standing up against them even when he's alone. However, in the midst of the fight, the head of the student council, named Edie, suddenly arrived to separate them. Later, after school, Roy didn't go straight home. Instead, he partied with his friends until late at night. However, because Roy got drunk, his friends ended up taking him home. Upon seeing this, his mother could only be saddened by the transformation of her child into a naughty kid. The next day, Roy's mother decided to repaint his bedroom walls to match the color of the paint in their house in Bandung. She did this so that Roy could be happy and feel at home in their current house. It is known here that Roy actually refused to move to Srang, but due to certain circumstances, they were forced to leave Bandung and move to his mother's hometown in Srang. Then, Shin switched sides and joined Roy and his friends, who were being punished by the principal for the previous fight with Dulloh. However, Roy opposed him, which made the principal angry, and he immediately slapped Roy.
Bapak kepala sekolah.
Strangely, Dulloh was not punished because the principal was afraid of and respected Dulloh's father, who was a ruler in the city of Srang. After the punishment was over, Ani approached Roy to apologize for the incident at the beach that resulted in Roy's dog dying. Although Ani wanted to apologize, Roy left abruptly when he saw a new student named Dewi there. Roy tried to flirt with her and get to know her, but Dewi ignored him as she wasn't interested.
Saya jamin, anak tante bakal betah di sini. Nama gua Roy!
In the evening, Roy accidentally met Dewi again at a nightclub. In his intoxicated state, Roy tried once again to get to know Dewi, but she continued to ignore him, even when Roy fell down the stairs due to the effects of alcohol.
Hai manis.
Suddenly, Edie came and saw Roy in a helpless state. He took Roy home. Upon arriving at Roy's house, his mother was sad. She asked Edie to make Roy realize that he is a good child, who likes saving money at the store. After that, his mother, still feeling disappointed, asked Roy to sleep outside. In short, the next morning, Roy's mother poured water on him to wake him up. She also expressed her disappointment after seeing Roy constantly coming home in a drunken state. Then she told him that they had felt comfortable living in Bandung, but unfortunately, they had to move because his father's family always blamed his mother for his father's death. After that, his mother reminded Roy of his promise to become a famous writer, like Roy had aspired to be. Upon hearing that, Roy finally realized and felt guilty towards his mother. He resumed his writing and fulfilled his promise to his father to become a writer. There, Roy suddenly got an idea to write about the history of Srang City and the performance of its government. There was someone in power who could do anything as they pleased. Roy began gathering information from various people in the lower class as his sources, asking for their opinions on the government's performance. Next, Roy met an old man named Pakajat, who was a former military personnel. Pakajat shared how his life fell apart after retirement. He felt abandoned by the government after his house was demolished without any compensation. As a result, he had to become a pedicab driver while selling calendars to make a living. Roy also asked Pakajat about the history of Srang City and the tragedy of Inir Panarukan, as well as his opinion on the rulers who abused their power against the people. In short, Roy obtained a lot of information and immediately wrote an article. He sent it to the newspaper, hoping that his work would be published and read by the government. Day after day, Roy continued to take photos as documentation for his writing. However, one day, Roy met Dewi again. It was here that Roy finally had the opportunity to get to know Dewi. They seemed very close, sharing their life stories with each other. It turned out that De's father had also passed away, just like Roy's father. However, unbeknownst to them, Ani saw them and became jealous. In fact, Ani became even more heated when she saw Roy holding De's hand affectionately.
Lu penyair.
Banjir yang aku.
Days passed, and it turned out that Roy's writing was published in the newspaper. His work had a significant impact on everyone, from his friends at school, who became brave enough to stand up against Dulloh's gang, known as the Bersolino gang. Not only that, Roy's parents were also offended by his writing, so they instructed the principal to take action against Roy for offending them. The principal obeyed their orders. It is revealed here that Roy's father used to be a ruler in the city of Srang. He was known for pretending to be good to the common people, for the sake of his image, but in reality, he was very cruel.